students. Our subject name is Environmental Resource Management. Today we are going to talk about forest resources. First of all, I want to talk about lesson purposes to acquaint students with concepts of forest resources. From carrying out of lesson, it is problem, lectures, and conversation. Plan of carrying out of lesson today is acquaints with a subject purposes of lesson, acquaints with forest resources conservation, and third, we are going to talk about analysis of theoretical questions. First of all, I want to talk about forest. What does mean forest? Where we use forest? Where we get forest? There are forests all over the world. The type of forest varies depending on the location of the forest. For example, there are tropical forests, coniferous forests, and deciduous forests. Forest resources are one of the most important types of natural resources. Forests are exploited since the early times for humans to meet human demand. According to the widely used United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization definition, forests are covered an area of 4 billion hectares, or approximately 30% of the world's land area. Forests are the dominant territorial ecosystem of Earth and are distributed across the globe. Forests account for 75% of the gross primary productivity of the Earth's biosphere and contain 30% of the Earth's plant biomass. Forest resources play an important role in the economy of any countries. It is a highly complex, changing environment made up of the living and non-living things. Living things include trees, shrubs, wildlife, and etc. And non-living things include water, materials, rocks, sunlight, and air. Forests are important to humans and the natural world. Forests provide for us, for humans, first of all, fuel, wood, habitat, industrial, construction materials, and climate regulations. Forests serve as home to many of the organisms that live on the land. Forests are also very important because they are major contributor to recycling and cleaning the world supply for oxygen. Forest conservation is the practice of planning and maintaining forested areas for the benefit and sustainability of future generations. Forest conservation became popular in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Forest conservation involves the upkeep of the natural resources within a forest that are beneficial to both humans and the ecosystem. Forest conservation acts to maintain, plan, and improve forest areas. Forests provide wildlife with a sustainable habitat for living. What we to do to forest conservation? What we must to do for forest conservation? First of all, we must do regulated and planned cutting of trees. Second, we must do control of forest fires. And third, we must to do reforestation. What we have to do to forest conservation? Third, it is fighting with afforestation, and fifth, check on the forest clearness for agriculture and human habitats, and sixth, development green belt around cities. What we have to do to forest conservation. 7, it is check on the mining activities in forest areas. And 8, it is protection of existing forest. And 9, conservation of certain types of trees. What we have to do to forest conservation? It is 9, development of national parks, 10, development of botanical gardens, and 11, development of seed banks. What we have to do to forest conservation? It is late things. Forest management. We must to do forest management for forest conservation. And late, we propose role of government in forest conservation. The permanent description of forest is called deforestation. Deforestation is a removal of a forest and or stand of trees where the land is thereafter converted to a non-forest use. Deforestation is a permanent destruction of forest in order to make the land available for other uses. Example of deforestation include conservation of forest land to farms, ranches, or urban use. Impact of deforestation to environment. First of all, impact for deforestation to environment, it is deforestation. And second impact of deforestation to environment, it is soil degradation and soil erosion. The soil gets washed away with rainwater on supply areas in the absence of trees, leading to soil erosion. And third, it is a loss of vegetation cover. The main impact for deforestation, it is destruction of natural habitat and loss of wildlife. Animals will be killed from deforestation, and changes in climate conditional, it will be global warming. And impact of deforestation to environment, it is environmental pollution. We have air pollution, water pollution. It is all thing in impact for environment and impact for forest. And late, it is damage to ecosystem. Values of the forest. We have 4 values of the forest. For human, we have values of the forest. First values of the forest, it is soil protection value of the forest. And second, it is sanitation hygiene values of the forest. And third, it is recreational values of the forest. And fourth, ethical values of the forest. The total area of the state and private forestry funds as of 1st January 2009 is 27.8 million hectare, or 10.2% of the Republic's territory. The land covered with forest occupies 12.3 million hectares, or 44.2% of the total forest at its lands. The percentage of forest lands amount to 4.5%. The area of the forestry fund is divided among various governmental departments as follows. About 4.7 million hectares, or 17.1% of the total forestry fund land comes under the jurisdiction of the Committee of the Forest and Hunting Industry. The Code of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Forest Code of the Republic of Kazakhstan. In Kazakhstan we have Forest Code. This will come for us as July 8th in 2003. Number of Forest Code, it is 477. Forest legislation of the Republic of Kazakhstan. First of all, it is the forest legislation of the Republic of Kazakhstan shall be based on the Constitution of the Republic of Kazakhstan and shall consist of this code and this legal enactment of the Republic of Kazakhstan. And second, forest legislation of Republic of Kazakhstan, it is legal relations in the area of use and protection of flora, except for forests, flora and fauna, water bodies, subsoil, land, atmospheric air, and specially protected natural areas shall be governed by special legislation of the Republic of Kazakhstan. We have 4 cadastres in Kazakhstan. Database, the state cadastres of natural resources include dynamic date. First of all, we have cadastre of fisheries resources. Cadastre of fisheries resources include 2,314 objects, and we have second cadastre of fauna, which include 669 objects. And we have cadastre of specially protected natural territories. This cadastre include 120 objects. And third, we talk about forest resources. We have forest cadastre, which include 108 objects. Which cadastres we have, and I want to talk about for you recommendations for conservation of forests. What we must to do for conservation forest resources. What we should do for conservation of forest resources. First of all, we must to do stop destruction of forests for safe forest resources. And second recommendation for conservation of forests, we must use of sustainable forest management approach. We must do forest monitoring for forest conservation. And third, we must do research and training program for forest conservation. And fourth, thing for must we do. It is a proper planning for the whole landscape and not the forest in isolation. It is for must thing, I think, we must to do for forest conservation. I use these references for prepare this today's lecture about forest reforestation. It is main important reference, I think, for you about how do you think about forest resources. It is references for you. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a good day. Bye, students. See you later on next lessons.